Hello, everyone, and welcome to INSA Podcast. Here on INSA Podcast, we strive to inspire everyone to choose the food that brings the good, as well as to dive into the nutrition and dietetics community to know more about it. In today's episode, we will be diving into the topic of the science behind sugar cravings. My name is Min, and I'm here today with my co-host, Huey Shin.
Hello everyone, I'm Huey Shin.
Huey Shin and I are both dietetics students currently in the midst of our second year. We both started our degree after COVID hit, so uni has been much of an online journey for us.
Yes, staying at home and studying online have its perks, so much freedom. But sometimes I think how dangerous it is if we don't manage our time properly. But in any case, we have to adapt to this online mood and, survive well.
Yeah, I totally agree. Although we're dietetic students and in class, we're taught to eat balanced meals, like half a plate of vegetables, a quarter carbohydrate, a quarter protein, and not to use food as a reward mechanism. At stressful times, I still seek comfort from food. Like after a long day of classes, I still want to reach for that chocolate cake, even though I know I shouldn't.
Yes. Especially during the end of the semester, all the assignment, deadline, exam are put together, and all I crave is food, especially carbs. I seek comfort from eating, even though I'm not really hungry. Sometimes. Oh my god. Okay.
I know, which brings us to our topic today, the science behind sugar cravings, where we will talk about the realness of sugar addiction and why we love carbs so much.
But first, let's talk about the basic. What are carbs?
So what do you think of when I say carbs? Probably rice, bread, noodles. Yeah, the essentials in our diet. Especially us Asians, we love our rice. Our body needs carbohydrates to function. It's one of the three macronutrients, and it's what fuels us and provides us energy to function on a daily basis. Without carbs, we'd just be constantly weak and tired. I remember last time when I didn't eat before I went to rock climbing, and I was so tired. I was so dead. Usually in the routes when I can just climb really normally, I couldn't even do it. It's because I didn't eat anything before it. Yeah, and worse, if you don't eat enough carbs, our organs won't be able to function properly.
Yeah, so most people these days they associate high carb foods with weight gain. And yeah, they are not wrong, but they often don't understand that our body need carbs for energy, especially since body image issues are major in this generation, due to the social media, the flat tummies, the Instagram models, or the influencers. And there are way too much low carbs or even worse, no carbs diet on the internet. And they are doing more harm than good. Do you agree?
Yes, I totally agree. Just the other night, I was having dinner and I overheard this guy from the other table telling his date or girlfriend, I don't know, that he was on a no carb diet, and he told the waitress that he didn't want any mashed potatoes at all, just substitute it all with salad. And he was quite a buff guy as well, and I could tell he goes to the gym, which got me wondering how can he go to the gym and be on a no carb diet? What is fueling him? It's actually really dangerous to not eat carbohydrates before a gym session, especially if you're weight training, because there's a higher chance of you losing energy and dropping your weights, which might injure you. So I was quite stunned because I've always thought gym guys understood nutrition more.
Oh, but I think you never judge a book by its cover. I can relate to this. Before I understood the bioenergetic mechanism of the body. Okay. This you remember the module, right? Is a lecture about how our body uses food sources and the body preferred source of energy when exercising at different intensity. I often think, wow, how did they get such big bicep muscle? I would think this guy has to eat clean. He knows the nutrition behind it very well. So that's why he can have this muscular body. But then I realized the truth is quite different. Most of them have the nutritional concept of eating more protein, less carbohydrate, and avoiding fat in any form. It's they totally avoid one. They don't want to eat a chicken skin, or they just don't want to eat in any form.
Yeah.
Yes. But from this statement, something is wrong. In fact, carbohydrates are the first source of energy our bodies use when we exercise. If we don't get enough carbs, we can't lift weight or do any kind of strenuous exercise. Our body needs protein to build and repair muscles, but protein is not the main source of energy.
Agree. And this is very interesting because when I first started going to the gym, I did quite a bit of research on this, and I stumbled on a couple of really reliable YouTubers. And one of them, which I really like, is Jeff Nippert. And one of our lecturers even cited him as a source and linked his YouTube video down for us to watch, which I
Mhm.
was like, yeah, he knows his stuff. Because in his video, you can obviously tell he cites all his sources, he pulls out all the scientific paper and the stats and everything. He backs up what he says.
Yeah, it's
And
reliable. It's
and the
reliable.
ideal way to eat for a workout is to consume carbohydrates before it, like an energy bar, and then
Mhm.
protein after the workout. So if you go to the gym, you'll see like people always shaking their protein shakes
Yeah.
after their gym, and it has science behind it. So consuming protein after the workout, it rebuilds what you basically injured during your workout.
Yeah, so this is when the protein does its job, but it's not to provide the main energy.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Anyway, bringing it back to carbohydrates, there are three types of it: sugar, starch, and fiber. And we'll be talking more about sugar and starch later. So I'll briefly explain about the benefits of fiber now. So our parents always tell us to eat our greens, and it's become a saying. But what are the real benefits? Well, listen to your parents because there are lots of benefits. First of all, it improves our gut health by aiding our digestion and bowel movements. And it also helps lower cholesterol levels and keep our heart healthy.
And other than that, fiber also aid in weight loss, help control blood sugar levels, normalize the bowel movement so that you won't get constipation. Okay, so now we have identified the type of carbs and their benefits. Let's get into our main topic today.
Okay, Huishin, picture this. It's a gloomy, rainy day. You're cuddled up in bed with Netflix playing your favorite show. You have a bowl of your comfort food laid in front of you, still warm to the touch, and you pick up a spoon and scoop it out. Okay, now comes the question. What is the food you are picturing?
If a warm one, right? You mean a bowl and it's
Mhm,
warm, then I guess it's soup. Oh, I
mhm.
know it's absolutely Maggie, especially Maggie Garlic, new Malaysian here.
True
Maggie
Malaysian, true
Garlic.
Malaysian.
Okay.
And that is a carb. It's
Mm.
only natural to think that because it is built in our genetics. According to an evolutionary biologist at Harvard University, sugar is a deep, deep ancient craving. Our affinity for carbohydrate traces back to our ancestors in the Paleolithic era, when they were basically still nomads.
Yeah, so come to think of it, it really makes sense. At that time, our ancestors were hunter-gatherers, so that without a constant food supply and the food was scarce and meal were inconsistent. So when a craving for sugar is definitely an advantage.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And not only is sugar the quickest source of energy, it also enables the body to store fats. So, considering the fact that our ancestors could go on for days without food, the ability to hang on to their fats is 100% a survival mechanism.
Wow, so you mean like what used to be a survival mechanism in the past has now contributed to an epidemic? Obesity is real.
Obesity is truly real.
Uh,
Back then, our ancestors had active lifestyles. Like they would have to go out in the morning and hunt for their prey. They have to basically chase for their food. And
yes, yes.
I can't even imagine how many steps they have to walk every day. And back then, keep in mind that sugar was rare. But now, most people can barely hit the 10,000 step count.
Can
I swear, at
oh
one
my god,
point
so hard.
during MCO, I only walked like 300 steps and it was to the kitchen and back to my room.
Also
That
to the
was how bad it
bathroom,
was.
right?
Yes, and
Yeah,
yeah, I checked my
that's
phone. I was like,
mandatory, yes.
oh my gosh. And I would stay in bed and use my computer and I could text anyone basically from my bed, right? The
Yeah.
rise in technology has made it too easy for us to be sedentary. And now that sugar is extremely accessible, it has led to increasing rates of obesity and diabetes.
So much has changed around us since the Paleolithic era. And you would think that we have evolved and adapted to our current environment, but why are we still craving the same food as our ancestors?
Good question. Although humans have culturally and technologically evolved, our genome has changed very little in the last 10,000 years. This means that our brain circuit is still programmed to eat more in times of food abundance, preparing for periods of starvation. For example, if you go to a buffet, you see the huge variety. What will we end up doing? Overeat. And
Yes.
that's in our blood. We can't control it. It's just human nature. Perhaps in a couple of 100,000 of years, we would evolve into disliking sugar.
Mm, yes, it's true, but I bet it won't. You look at the food industry these days, it's all about designing flavor that suit human taste. And what flavor do we like? Sweet. And that is sugar. Oh my God, our brain is really playing with us.
Mhm. And as of now, our body associates sweet taste with high energy. So when sugar is consumed, a chain of pathways are activated. First, the sweet receptors in the front part of our tongue is activated, which sends signals to our forebrain, activating the brain's reward system. And that spikes a lot of electrical and chemical pathways, triggering dopamine hotspots in our brain.
Dopamine, the feel-good hormone. No wonder we love sugar so much. It chemically makes us happy. The sweet feeling that stimulates the dopamine effects is similar to how alcohol and nicotine stimulate dopamine and it makes us happy. So sugar is essentially a drug, a cheaper drug, we can say that.
Research has indicated that consuming sugar produces similar effects to that of cocaine, altering mood, possibly through its ability to induce reward and pleasure, leading to the seeking out of sugar. Additionally, rodent studies have also shown that mice prefer sugar over cocaine.
Oh, really? They prefer sugar over cocaine. Oh my God,
Mhm.
it's like drug.
Of course, in humans, sugar isn't as aggressive as cocaine and can hardly be placed on the same level, right? But sugar is way more accessible and highly incorporated in our daily lives. For example, a frappuccino contains like 55 grams of sugar. Isn't that crazy?
Yes. Oh my God.
One drink, like a drink that basically if you go on a street you can see people drinking, can surpass the recommended amount of 30 grams of sugar a day.
And it's more than 30,
It's more than
30,
that, yeah. It's
55.
it's
Yeah.
almost double.
And this is real. Sugar is found everywhere in processed food like breakfast cereals, flavored yogurt drinks, dressings, sauces, and not to mention the canned carbonated drink. So consuming large amount of sugar, our brain reward system become overactivated and leading to loss of control, greater craving, and increased sugar tolerance. But the fun fact is that we all know the truth. Actually, we all know how much sugar is inside the carbonated drink. Oh, and don't tell me you thought the coloring and sweetness existed naturally. Of course, it is not. But we all know, and we still take it. We still prefer the flavored yogurt over Greek yogurt just because it tastes so good and it makes us happy. And we are in a good mood after having them. Yeah, so hard.
I know, it's truly so hard. But to bring it all back, carbohydrates are so comforting because the sugars trigger neurochemical signals in our brain that release the feel good hormone. And these chemical processes trace back to our ancestors, so if you want, you can blame them, where the ability to convert sugar to fat storage was a physiological benefit and a survival mechanism. However, unlike the past, sugar is extremely accessible today. When coupled with the human craving of sugar and modern sedentary habits, obesity epidemic has arose.
It's generally said that it's okay to seek comfort from carbohydrates, but it is good to understand the process and science behind the reaction so you don't overconsume and end up harming yourself.
That's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning into our podcast. I'm Amin,
And I'm Hui Shin.
and we hope that this episode has impacted our listeners and brought about insights to the nutrition and dietetics field. Before signing off, do check us out on our Instagram page at insa.imu, which is indsa.imu, and our podcast at Insa Podcast. Stay tuned for more episodes. This is Insa Podcast, inspiring everyone to choose the food that brings the good. Bye!